light so bright. Rev it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our holy place. Thrill the place. Thrill the place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste. Feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste. In this high octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights the engine scream. This is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam. Racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might. Push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight. Racing on with all our might. All our might. Thrill the place. Thrill the place. Thrill the place.
Vision. Planning. Possibility. At Metal Morphosis Machine, we turn ideas into engineered reality. Whether you're working with plastics, composites, ferrous or non-ferrous metals, our capabilities and vast partner network ensure no project is too big, too small, or too complex. From concept to completion, your success starts here. Discover how Metal Morphosis can elevate your machining needs today.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here this evening with the Metal Morphosis Machine LLC HCK Beagles Truck Series. Here this evening as race number 5 is about to get underway, and it's a great day for it here. A very happy Veterans Day here to everyone tuning in, everyone watching. A huge thank you to every one of our vets out there, man, every single one of them, and even including some of our own drivers here this evening, man. So huge happy Veterans Day, guys. Go out, make sure you guys buy your puppies, make sure you guys support your your local communities and your veterans here this evening, and for always, as this night gonna be a fun one here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, man. This is the home of NASCAR, as most of their race shops are just around the corner. So for these trucks, they didn't have to travel a long distance here this evening to get to the racetrack. For the drivers, though, they didn't have to go very far at all. All they had to do was load into the sim, and here we go, as we'll get them stacked up, racked up, and ready to roll here this evening. As each and every one of these drivers is going to be looking to try to put themselves up and into the winner's circle here this evening, as we'll go through our starting grid. And starting on the pole in the number 1 machine, it's Brad Lane who will start in the top spot here this evening. Evan Gourmet will start back in second. Starting in that third position, the 18 rider Jacob Grube to his outside, running out our top 4. It's the 77 of Brandon Domingue. Starting in position number 5 in the 64 ride, that is Cal Turboville to his outside, the 42 of Kevin Winker. Starting in position number 7 in the number 19 ride, it's Ed Koschersberger, and then we see the 4 ride of Tim Blankenbeckler starting to his outside. Starting in position number 9, it is Nicholas Snyder to his outside, running out our top 10, the 29 ride. It is Tyler Lemon who will start there in position number 10. Starting in the 11th spot, it is Dimitri Curtis. In his outside, starting in 12th, it is Chris Gilbert. So Gilbert rounding out our top 12 here this evening, as we'll take a quick look now at our back half of the field. Starting in the 13th position, it is the 20 ride of Jason LePan. To his outside, it is that beautiful number 87 of John Herbert. Starting in position number 15 in the 25 ride, that is Gordon Glidewell. To his outside in the Ridge Powersports number 469, it is Ryan Peterson. Starting in position number 17 in the 75 ride, that is Bobby Blair. To his outside in the 14, the Waffle House number 14 ride, that is Kyle Wiggins. Starting back in the 19th position in the 13 ride, it is Kyle Van Tassel. Into his outside in the Frets for Pets, the juke joint number 31, it's Rob McDonald. So Trent rounding out our top 20 here this evening as 20 drivers loaded into the sim, 20 drivers looking for the win here this evening from Charlotte Motor Speedway, as these drivers will start rolling out onto the racetrack and we'll get ready to set them loose. As let's go through some of the chat here, as Kevin Winker, K-Dub in the chat says, let's go. Thank you to all the veterans that have served this great country. Tim's Tiny Boat Adventure says, looking forward to this race with my dad on the car to honor him on this Veterans Day. We love that, Tim. We love that, brother. We'll have to take a look at that car here in just a little bit. Janarita says, let's go, Winker. Thank you to all of our veterans out there, including you, Winker. Hashtag Winker Nation. Huge shout out there to Kevin Winker, not only being one of the amazing racers here in this series, but also one of our veterans as well. Dimitri Curtis says, thank you to all of the vets that served our country. Let's have a good race, he says. Yes, Sirski is. Richard Brashaw in the chat as well. What's good, Richard? Richard says, happy Veterans Day, guys. Hashtag number 20, Jason LePan. Let's go, he says, Richard Brashaw in the mother effing house. Let's go, Richard. Let's get it, brother. As Janelle says, let's go, Team HP Motorsports, and happy Veterans Day. Thank you all who served us. Here we go. Getting ready to set them loose here in this one is down and out of corner number 4 and through the Geico restart zone. Here at Charlotte, we will end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here this evening as the Fanatec number 1 of Brad Lane trying to lead us down through 1 and 2, looking to try to slide up and clear that 68 of Evan Gomet for the top spot. Can't quite clear him though, as that hometown garage number 68 will stick to his outside, looking for a big run down through 3 and 4, and it looks like they'll drag race out of 4 as Gomet with the foot on the throttle. He'll jump down low and he will clear Brad Lane as out in front, leading lap number 1 here on this very amazing Veterans Day. It is the 68 of Evan Gomet who will lead the opening lap. Brad Lane, our pole sitter, will slide back into second as here comes Brandon Deming. Deming trying to work that U.S. Air Force number 77 right up towards the front. He's got that Metal Morphosis machine number 18 of Jacob Groove right on his back bumper. Cal Turboville right there ready to pounce as well, looking for another podium finish here out of that number 64 ride. Nicholas Snyder back in position number 6 with Ed Koshersberger there in 7th, and Tim Blankenbeckler back here in position number 9. 8 right now, actually, back in 8th. Let's take a look here at this race car. So he's got, I do believe this is his old man on the car. Let me take a look here. M.J. Blankenbeckler Jr., the Air Force here says honoring all who served, man. Great pick right there as well. So it's absolutely awesome to see. Love to see all these drivers supporting our vets and putting these beautiful, beautiful paint schemes out there for everyone to look at and everyone to enjoy here this evening on the beautiful Veterans Day. John Herbert always wearing that Sky Soldiers paint scheme here, looking good out there on the speedway. We did see Dimitri Curtis with a beautiful looking paint scheme here as well. Let's see if we can get another look at Dimitri's ride here as the Frets for Pets machine. Let's see if we can get this angled a little differently. All right, let's see if we can get another look at this car here. Let's see if we can get a nice look at it. There we go. Beautiful looking Frets for Pets. The juke joint number 83 here this evening, man. We love the stars down low with the music and the paws in it, man. That's actually really, really cool. I love that. As a concert for the animals there, the Frets for Pets, man. We absolutely love that paint scheme. Let's see if we can get a look back here at another one of these drivers as Kyle Wiggins in the Waffle House ride. Jason LePan having Richard Brashaw on board with him here as usual. We did see Kevin Winker. K-Dub's got that beautiful Beautiful looking ride here, man. Home of the free because of the brave. We absolutely love this paint scheme. He's had it for a little while now, man, but it is absolutely amazing. It looks so, so beautiful in the car right there to his outside, man. Another beautiful looking ride here, man. We absolutely love this machine, man. The Ryan Peterson ride looking fresh as always out there on the speedway. He's ready to try to put this car up and into victory lane, looking fresh out there on the speedway. And Rob McDonald with a special paint scheme here this evening as well. Now, unfortunately for Rob McDonald, he did have to serve a penalty early on in this race. Had to come down pit road, and unfortunately, as he came down pit side, kind of lost the lap there. So a tough break early on for Rob McDonald, but nonetheless, man, great looking ride here. Let's see if we can get a good look at this race car for him as well. Let's see if we can get another angle at it here. See if we can get another angle at it. Here we go. Let's see if we can get something here. All right. I don't know what that means, chat. I don't know what that means. But here we go. Beautiful look at it. The Navy Friends for Pets AEGIS ride. Okay, looking pretty cool. Looking pretty cool. Okay, all right. We're loving it. We're loving it, man. Another looking paint scheme here. Another looking beautiful one here. He's got the Department of the Navy on it as well. So, man, absolutely amazing looking rides here this evening for Veterans Day, man. We appreciate all these guys, man, putting together such beautiful race cars for tonight's feature event. Is out in front. It is still this number 68 ride. It is Evan Gomet. Gomet still out in front as Brennan. What's good, Brennan? Brennan says, Dimitri says, what's up, Brennan? How are you, mister? Mr. Roble coming in, showing the love here in this one. Bradley Townsley as well in the chat says, let's go, number 83. Cheering on Mr. Dimitri Curtis here this evening as how are you, Bradley? How are you, Brennan? Amanda Joy in the chat as well says hashtag Winker Nation, says thank you to our veterans. Huge thank you there to all of our amazing veterans here this evening as a beautiful Veterans Day feature event here with the HCK Beagles Truck Series is out in front. It's Evan Gomet who continues to lead the way. First 10 laps go to this number 68 ride, and now for all these drivers, the big question is going to be, will we see a caution flag or will it stay clean and green here this evening? It's a big track. It's sometimes a tricky track, so we'll have to wait and see what these tires are going to look like throughout this first run. For a lot of these drivers, the first stage, there will be no caution flag for it, but they know lap 41 is the completion of our first stage of the day. So 41 laps in, that will be the end of our first stage. Drivers will earn some extra points throughout the top 6, so trying to be there, trying to be inside that top 6 is going to be a big key thing to do throughout this race, and it's going to be right in that beautiful window that we like. It's going to be right around those pit stops. A lot of drivers are going to have to make a decision here on whether or not they want to save fuel, try to get to that stage break, give up a little bit more in the short term compared to the long term, because we're going to see a lot of these drivers more than likely start to run into fuel issues and probably have to pit before that lap 41 marker. But there are a few drivers, I think they're trying to save a little bit back here. You look back at Kevin Winker, K-Dub's been a couple seconds off the pace here right from the drop of the green flag. So I'm assuming Kevin is trying to stretch that fuel out as far as possible, knowing that he wants to try and win this stage, try to earn those points and put them into his back pocket. Kyle Van Tassel a little farther back here as well in that 13 ride. Unfortunately, maybe a little too far back as our race leaders aren't too far away from him here. They're both down on the back straightaway, so he's going to have to be very careful not to go a lap down early in this race. But for our race leaders out in front, they haven't really backed down. They haven't really slowed down. They've had a little bit of tire fall off, but that's about it. They've been on the throttle. They have been racing hard here at the front of the field. So I think for a lot of these drivers, their beds are made. They know what they have and what they're doing and where they need to be to try and get anything out of this first stage, or just trying to play it out to be there at the end. As here we go, looking for the race lead. It's Brad Lane, our pole sitter, looking to try to take that top spot back away from Evan Gomet. Gomet was able to steal it away from him there on our opening lap, but now 14 laps in, about to be 15 laps in, it'll still be Evan Gomet who will lead that lap. But here inside the first 15 laps of the race. You see this one ride battling back, looking to try to work his way out in front as Brad Lane looking for victory lane here this evening. Can he complete the pass and put himself out in front? Is a little bit of a block right there. 68 ride kind of came down, threw some dirty air onto that one ride, and that's definitely going to make things a little bit tougher for him. So Brad Lane will have to get reset, have to try to build up that speed and momentum, try for another run and another opportunity to try to steal the lead away. Brandon Deming right there in third, and it's Cal Turbeville up and into position number 4 as he'll continue to look for more. Jacob Grew back there in the 5th position. We see Chris Gilbert already up 6 positions here for that Jegs.com number 45. Ryan Gilbert up and into that 6th position now on the Speedway. Nicholas Snyder there in 7th. Ed Koshersberger, John Herbert, and Kyle Wiggins in the 14 ride. Rounding out our top 10 is Justin Gurry, says go number 14. Cheering on Kyle Wiggins here this evening for the Waffle House number 14 ride. He's looking to keep on moving forward, trying to complete this pass for position number 9 on the Speedway. Looking to the outside of that Sky Soldier Ridge Powersports number 87 of Mr. John Herbert as the KR Gutters ride. Unfortunately, looks like he's going to get a little tight down low here. Big run on the high side for Wiggins, and Kyle Wiggins will work his way inside the top 9 now. So for John Herbert, slides back to 10th. He'll look to try to get that spot back, but early on, Kyle Wiggins from 18th up and into 9th here. Moving forward there in that 14 ride as you do see Tim Blankenbeckler right there behind him. Has his dad riding on board with that number 4 ride here this evening, man. We absolutely love it. Love to see it as beautiful looking paint scheme here, man. The Tim's Tiny Boats Adventure Ride looking fresh here this evening, man. And yeah, Tim's came into the chat there with his channel as well. So I don't know if you guys can see the top chats or the first chats of the day, but Tim's Tiny Boat Adventures, man. Go check him out over there on YouTube as Tim's trying to get some content out there, make some cool videos, and obviously go on some really cool tiny boat adventures, man. That's definitely going to be some content I'm going to check out here in just a little bit. Once this race ends, man, we may have to go check out and see what he's got, because it's always fun to see what these guys are able to do content-wise as well. As LePan, Tyler Lemon, Tim Blankenbeckler now back into that 13th position. Dimitri Curtis there in the 14th spot. Has Gordon Glidewell back behind him in 15th. Bobby Blair in 16th with Ryan Peterson. Kevin Winker rounding out our top 18 as K-Dub still trying to play the strategy of trying to save fuel, and our race leaders are reeling into him in a quick hurry. So I'm not sure if K-Dub has to continue saving, if there's more that he needs to save, but man, he's going to be in a world of pain here in a quick hurry as there's still 20 laps of racing action left to go here in this stage. And for Kevin Winker, our race leaders are reeling him in. He may be the next driver to go a lap down here in this one as Rob McDonald currently sits as the first car 1 lap down. He's in that lucky dog position. He's open to see a caution flag, knowing that a big yellow could potentially work him into a good position here for trying to get that lap back, trying to get himself back onto the lead lap, but he's got to be a little bit lucky. He's got to hope that Kevin Winker does not fall a lap down and then a caution flag fly, or if Winker does lose a lap, he falls back behind the 31. So for the Winker Nation, Muehlberger Custom Homes number 42, Kevin Winker gonna have to try to figure something out here, whether or not it's gonna be kind of eliminating the fuel savings or continue on with it and hoping for the best here with a longer run, trying to steal some stage points. But the more that these guys start to catch him, the more likeliness it is going to be that they are going to come down pit road and he may not even be able to complete the pass on them. It may get him back on the lead lap, but it may not put him into a good position later in this race, and really missing up with the different fuel strategy here today. But we'll have to wait and see, because they are door to door right here behind them. That's a good sign for Kevin Winker here. And there's a caution flag. Caution flag will fly. That is a big break for Kevin Winker as he will stay on the lead lap, and a big break for Rob McDonald as well, as Rob will earn the lucky dog here this evening. He'll get back on a lead lap, as I do believe Tyler Lemon, John Herbert, a few of these drivers going to get tied up in this one. Let's take a look at it. All right, here we go. So LePan, Herbert, and the 29 ride and all right there together, and it's Jason LePan down on the bottom here. Herbert's up on the high side. Let's take a look and see. Okay, so LePan's coming up. Unfortunately, I think he just kind of misjudges it. Maybe comes up a little bit too far. Maybe netcode kind of helping out there ever so slightly. Nonetheless, he gets into that left rear quarter panel of the 87. They both get sideways. They both wash up the racetrack. And for LePan, he washes right up into the 29 ride of Tyler Lemon. Man, nowhere to go for Tyler Lemon. Just trying to squeeze around it, trying to avoid it. Unfortunately, nowhere for him to go. Lucky break here for John Herbert as he's able to avoid any major damage or contact right there. Didn't get a piece of the wall or anything else. Same can't be said for Tyler Lemon or that number 20 of Jason LePan here. So there were a couple big hits in this one, man. Couple really big hits. And for Lemon, you got to feel for this 29 ride. Just wrong place, wrong time. He's trying to battle with these guys. He's trying to follow them down and into corner number 3. And all of a sudden, here they go, rack it in front of them, and then bam, right back up the track. And man, that's a big hit there for the 29 ride, as he may be down pit side here for an extended period of time. I do believe, actually, he's taking that truck back behind pit wall, so a heartbreaker there for him. Now for Rob McDonald, gets that wave around. Lucky Dog back onto the lead lap. Great break there for that number 31 machine. As Tower Operator coming into the chat says, hashtag Winker Nation cheering on K-Dub here this evening. And George Cook says, yo, got this playing while I'm playing Warzone. Let's go, George. That's what's up right there, brother. That's what's up. Playing some Warzone. Nothing wrong with that, George. Nothing wrong with that at all, man. We love a little bit of Warzone action. We love a little bit of Warzone action. That definitely is a good time, man. Man, it's been a while since I played any Warzone, but man, we may have to get in there one of these days. Maybe the next day we're off. Maybe we'll get some Warzone content out for all the fans in the stands, and we'll be up there, running and gunning and trying to get some dubs in the old Warzone, man. That sounds like fun to me. Maybe Thursday night we'll get something going with that. As Brad Lane, though, out in front, looks like everyone's going to come down pit road, including Kevin Winker. So I'm not sure if this strategy is going to play out for the 42 ride, as everybody should be able to make it to the end of this first stage now. And unfortunately, all the strategy that he was working on there, he was almost a lap down. I wasn't sure if that was going to play out for him or not, but man, this is going to be interesting here to see whether or not he'll be able to battle his way back up towards the front. As Justin Curry says, Kyle Wiggins for the most passes this race. So far, I would say he's definitely up there with the most passes. That's for certain. I mean, gained about 5 or so there under that caution flag. Gained a few spots there during that pit stop. So good break there, at least making some passes down pit road, not only out on the racetrack, but does put Wiggins up and into position number 4. But it's not about where you started. It's not about where you're running on lap number 26. It's about where you can finish this race. We'll have to wait and see if Kyle Wiggins can take the good run early on, use it to his advantage, and finish this one off with a strong finish here this evening. As right now the 14 car up 14 positions, so there's a lot of fast cats back here behind him, including our early race leader, that 68 of Evan Gomet, right there ready to try to navigate his way back to the front of the field. Chris Gilbert, Cal Turbeville, Brandon Deming, Gordon Glidewell, Tim Blankenbeckler rounding out our top 10, but it's all Brad Lane here at the front of the field as Lane will see the green flag fly once again. So Brad Lane sees the green flag fly as he's got the 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder right there on his back bumper. Group trying to hang on now to position number 2, and it looks like the rough restart here for the 18 ride and for the Metamorphosis Machine, LLC Machine. He's going to slide back a couple spots as here we go. Here comes Gomet. Here comes the 18 ride as the 14 right through the middle. They are able to pick up another spot, but he may give one back as the 68 down low looking for a big run down through 3 and 4. He's going to use it to his advantage. Will work himself around that 14 of Kyle Wiggins. And now for our race leader, Nicholas Snyder. He's able to take over the race lead, work his way around Brad Lane, and that's going to put Snyder back out in front. here. Another race led for that number 5 ride as he's going to look to try to hold these guys off. But I think for a lot of these guys, there was a lot of different tire strategy going on right there. I think there was a lot of drivers that elected to take no tires, a lot of drivers that probably elected to take 2 or potentially 4 here. And unfortunately for some of those drivers that took less tires early on, it's not going to work out for them. They're going to fall back. They're going to have some issues here. They're going to continue to slide farther and farther backwards. But later in this race, if we get a few more late race caution flags, it could open up the door for them to really pounce and make some ground up and use some fresher tires to their advantage. As Evan Gomet has the race lead, it's Brandon Deming up and into second with Cal Turbeville back there in that 3rd position. Brad Lane trying to hold on the 4th here as him and Nicholas Snyder battle back in 4th. And you do see the 18 of Jacob Grube right there as well. Grube back into that 6th position as Bobby Blair there in 7th, and you do see the 14 ride, unfortunately here for Kyle Wiggins, going to fall back a couple more spots. As we do see Bobby Blair, Ryan Peterson, and Kevin Winker all navigate their way around him here. We know K-Dub may be a little bit more aggressive. I know K-Dub's going to want to try to work his way up towards the front, but he's got to look out. Ooh, baby! There goes the 75 of Bobby Blair down through the grass. Luckily enough, looks like he's able to hang on to it. Doesn't look like major damage for the 75 ride, but this is going to affect him. Actually, it does look like he got into the wall pretty good right there. So let's take another look at it. So here we go. I don't know if there was contact there. Looked like potentially the 469 ride is Rage Powersports teammate all over his back bumper right here. As they're rolling up onto the 5 ride, you see the 5 getting a little loose here on the older tires, and you see the flame shooting at the 75. Unfortunately, he has to check up for the 5 ride. Ryan Peterson can't check up as soon as he needs to, and unfortunately, it just shoots this 75 down the racetrack here, down through the infield, and ends up making some pretty good contact right there, man. Kissing that inside safer barrier down pit road. And for the 75 of Bobby Blair, unfortunately being down and off the racing surface, no caution flag, and that is really going to hurt his chances here this evening as he just lost a ton of track position and is now very, very deep in the field. He'll need a caution flag to try to get himself back into this one. As out in front, it's Brandon Deming with the race lead. He's able to take it away from Evan Gomet. Gomet and Cal Turbeville will jump up into 2nd and 3rd, and now it's Kevin Winker. K-Dub able to battle his way up here. Winker finds himself now into position number 4 and looking for more as John Herbert there in 5th. Brad Lane following backwards here. He's in that 6th position. He's got Rob McDonald. He's got Mr. Trench all over his back bumper here. Trench trying to take a good race truck here up to the front of the pack here as he's in 7th looking for position number 6. Jason LePan right there in 8th. Ryan Peterson back in 9th, and Nicholas Snyder rounding out our top 10 is now lookout contact between Dimitri Curtis and Nicholas Snyder. Snyder hard contact up and into that outside fence here. There's going to be probably some good right front damage here for that 5 ride, and unfortunately that's going to really affect his ride here this evening. He's going to need a caution flag to try to work his way back into this battle as Dimitri's going to get around him. Jacob Grube, Tim Blankenbeckler around him, and now is it the same as the 14 ride of Kyle Wiggins. Wiggins back here now into that 13th position, able to gain one back though with that mishap for the 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder as he sits now back in 14th. Gordon Glidewell, Ed Kochersberger, Chris Gilbert here in 17th. Bobby Blair back in the 18th position with Kyle Van Tassel, first car 1 lap down, and unfortunately for Tyler Lemon, he has been done and out of this race since lap number 24. As out in front, though, it's Brandon Deming who continues to lead the way. Deming out in front. He's going to be feeling A-okay here as he's got a bit of a gap between himself and that number 68 of Evan Gomet. Gomet sits in 2nd with his teammate Cal Turbeville right there in 3rd. Kevin Winker, K-Dub, a couple seconds back here from our top 3, but for Winker, he is in a points-paying position. So if we see this stay clean in green and we see the completion of lap number 41 for Kevin Winker, he will earn some stage points here this evening. So at least he'll get a few stage points, and the strategy didn't really go all for naught as he's able to battle his way up here in this one. John Herbert now in 5th, and Rob McDonald Trench in that final points-paying position as of right now. So for Rob McDonald, if he can hold on to the 6th position for a few more laps, could earn himself at least a stage point here this evening. Is Albert Anderson, what's good, Albert? Albert in the chat showing the love, says hashtag Winker Nation, cheering on K-Dub here this evening as Winker looking to have a good run, a solid day here again this evening, trying to continue to battle here for a lot of points and just trying to keep himself consistent throughout this season, trying to chase down a championship. But there's a lot of fast cats out here on the Speedway, a lot of fast cats here in the series that are going to be looking to try to keep Winker not only out of victory lane, but out of winning that championship, as they'll be looking for it themselves. As Brandon Domingue, though, continues to lead the way here. He's only got a couple laps left to go here before the end of this stage, as Evan Gomet there in 2nd really has not gained anything on that 77 ride, so it looks like it is Brandon Domingue's stage to lose right here. He just has to be perfect. He has to be clean and out of trouble for the next lap around the Speedway, as this is the final lap in stage number 1. Now, there is no caution flag here at the end of this stage. There will be no yellow flag. We will stay clean and green after the stage ends, but for our top 6, they will earn some massive stage points here this evening, as Brandon Domingue down through 3, nice and easy, out of corner number 4, it's Brandon Domingue who will pick up stage win number 1 here this evening. So Brandon Domingue in the U.S. Air Force number 77 ride will win the stage. He's got Evan Gomet in that hometown garage number 68 right there behind him. Cal Turboville in that Howard ride sits back there in position number 60, back in position number 3 here in the 64 ride, with K-Dub Kevin Winker in that Muleburger Custom Homes number 42 gonna round out our top 4. For John Herbert, he's back in 5th, and for all the Friends for Pets, the Juke Joint fans in the stands, Trench comes home here in position number 6, earning him the last bonus points here in this stage. So for Ron McDonald, some big bonus points right there after a bit of a rough start to this race, obviously having to come down pit road and serve a penalty, and obviously a tough start to the season for the 31 ride, but maybe here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway he can turn things around and get himself right back into the action. As Ryan Peterson there in 7th, his lookout Trench getting a little bit loose there at a corner number 4, almost got a big piece of that outside fence, luckily enough able to hang on to it, but here comes Peterson looking to try to take over that 6th position here on the Speedway. Jason LePan with Richard Bradshaw on board with that beautiful Warrior Racing number 20 ride. LePan sits back in that 8th position with Dimitri Curtis, Tim Blankenbeckler, our top 10. Jacob Grube and Gordon Glidewell running out our top 12, as we do see, and Konchersberger down pit side. We did see already Brad Lane come down pit road, Kyle Wiggins down pit side, and Chris Gilbert also down pit road here. Nicholas Snyder had come down pit side, and it looks like for Nicholas Snyder, man, this is a tough break here for Nicholas Snyder in the 5 ride. Man, this is a tough break for him, as unfortunately he looks like he has left this race. He's no longer out there on the Speedway. The contact that he had gotten looks like it was too much, and unfortunately he has taken that truck off of the Speedway. Man, that is a heartbreaker there for him. Heartbreaker there for that number 5 ride here this evening, after, I do believe, winning back-to-back races. Yeah, back-to-back wins here for Nicholas Snyder. He was going for the 3-peat here this evening, and unfortunately the 3-peat will not come here this evening, as unfortunately looks like he is wrecked out of this race, no longer battling for it, and unfortunately for Nicholas Snyder, cannot go for that 3 wins in a row, as we do see Gordon Glidewell now head down pit road here as well. So more drivers navigating their way down pit side, and this is going to make things really, really interesting, because the drivers that now have fresh tires that are out there on the Speedway, they've been running a lot faster lap times. They've been really clicking off the laps here in a quick hurry, and being about almost half a second or better quicker than our race leader. So in the short term, it's really going to give them a bit of a headache as they're all a lap down right now. They're all back behind our first 2 lap down cars out here on the speedway, including Bobby Blair and Kyle Van Tassel. So unfortunately right now there's only 11 drivers still on the lead lap, and if there's a caution flag, could definitely set them back here in this race. But for all the drivers that are still out here, still rolling, they're giving up so much time right now to those fresh tires that they're probably going to lose some time. They're going to lose quite a few positions once they make their way down pit road, but this is really got the field kind of split up here. It's really got the field split up. It's really going to make drivers have to start to wonder and start to think about what they need to do, where they need to be, and how they're going to play out these tires. And I think for right now, a lot of these drivers that were down pit side had gotten fresh tires there at that first caution flag on lap number 25. They're all kind of just settling in. They're looking for a long green flag run, hoping that they can kind of balance these tires out a little bit and also give themselves a good position out here on the speedways. We do see some issues for Gordon Glidewell. Glidewell had went down and off the racing surface. Let's take a look back here at it. So Glidewell down on the apron right there, shoots up the track, trying to keep himself out of the corner 4 wall. He's going to have to cut through a couple of those chicanes on the front straightaway. Luckily enough, able to keep that midnight ride rolling in the right direction and able to keep on battling here in this one. Could have been a whole lot worse in a whole hurry for that number 25 ride. Is out in front, though, it's Evan Gomet. Gomet with the race lead. Cal Turbeville now into second as Brandon Domingue slides back to third. John Herbert there in fourth with Ryan Peterson rounding out our top 5. Rob McDonald sits in 6th as Kevin Winker, K-Dub, unfortunately is now slid back into about position number 7. Jason LePan there in 8th with Tim Blankenbeckler back in 9th, and Dimitri Curtis right there on his back bumper as a pair of the French for Pets, the Juke Joint rides rolling there, rounding out our top 10. Jacob Grew back in 11th here. He's the last car on the lead lap as the number 75 of Bobby Blair. First car 1 lap down. Brad Lane, the second driver, a lap down. As here we go. Here comes our 11th place driver, Jacob Groob. Groob's going to head down pit road here. He's going to make his second pit stop of this feature event. So this is going to make things very, very interesting on what these drivers are going to do, what the strategies are going to be, and how they're going to try to work themselves into victory lane here this evening, especially with running the risk of going clean and green from this point forward, as we do see right side tires going on to the 18 ride. Looks like they're going to put left sides on as well, so 4-tire pit stop there for Jacob Groove, and we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out for him, because obviously tires are going to mean a ton, fuel is going to mean a lot, and it's going to make things very, very interesting to see how this all gets played out here this evening. Out in front, the number 68 of Evan Gomet continues to lead the way. Cal Turbeville right there in second, having himself a pretty solid run again here this evening. Cal, I do believe, is the only driver here in all 4 races of the season to come home inside the top 3 to join us up in the broadcast booth. So for Cal Turbeville, looking to continue that trend forward, looking to try to put himself up into victory lane, or back up onto the podium again here this evening for the 5th time in 5 races. This race, 135 laps of green flag racing here this evening, and obviously for a lot of these drivers, that's gonna open up the calculators quite a bit here. What numbers do you gotta hit? Where do you gotta be? I do believe they got 4 sets of tires back behind pit wall, so 4 total sets of tires. You kind of gotta play it to ear here. You gotta make the right calls at the right time, not wanting to burn up all your tires too soon. You kind of want to leave a set for a little later in the race, but you don't want to wait too long where they're not really gonna make any advantage for you, but you don't want to come down too early where it's going to hurt you in the long run. So for a lot of these drivers, the calculators are always rolling, man. They're steam probably coming out of their ears right now because they are all working overtime, trying to figure out what number they need to hit here to, justify coming down pit road and potentially using another set of tires here in this feature event. As Gomet in Cal Turbeville, 1 and 2 here on the speedway, and now with only, I do believe it is 70% fuel here. So only 70% fuel, no fast repairs for these drivers. So for a lot of them, that's what you tend to see. When you look back at Nicholas Snyder, you look back at Tyler Lemon, they got some pretty sizable damage here. And unfortunately, man, that is just such a tough break for those guys. When you get that damage, no caution flag, or even if there's a caution flag, with no quick repairs, you're kind of just trapped down pit road until your car is fixed. And for a lot of drivers, if you got to go down 5-10 laps, you're not going to get those laps back. You're going to be all those laps down, and obviously for Snyder and Tyler Lemon, wasn't worth it for them to continue to keep on battling here or wait around until their cars got repaired to get back in onto the racetrack. And so far, it's been a pretty good call, as I do believe we're going to see Nicholas Snyder go down about 20 laps now on the speedway. For Tyler Lemon, he's about 33 laps down, so that's tough here in this one. Is Justin Curry says, one of the most nice streams I have been to. Good job, host. I appreciate that, Justin. I appreciate that, brother, coming in, showing the love here in this one, man. I appreciate that, my man, coming in, showing the love here in this one. As here we go, more drivers headed down pit road. Here comes Timmy. Tim Blankenbeckler heads down pit side, and Dimitri Curtis will join him here as a pair of the Frets for Pets Juke Joint Rides head down pit side here, making their green flag pit stops back here on lap number 58. Now we are going to see Evan Gomet, Cal Turboville, Brandon Deming. They're going to stay out a little bit longer here. Same with John Herbert, Ryan Peterson, Rob McDonald, Trench. They're in 6th. He's staying out a little longer as well, as we do see Jason LePan now head down pit side here himself. So this is just going to work all those drivers that pitted early back to the front of the field here. Once we see all these other drivers start to come down pit side, and here they come. There's a slew of them. Here comes Evan Gomet, our race leader, Cal Turboville. Brandon Deming. Here comes John Herbert down pit side as well. Rob McDonald, he's going to hit pit road. So far, no black flags, no penalties, so that's a great break for all these drivers. But it is Ryan Peterson who's going to elect to stay out here for at least another lap. So Ryan Peterson trying to go a little bit farther, and so won't Kevin Winker. K-Dub, we know K-Dub's always trying to run these fuel mileage games, man, trying to run these simulators in somewhat of an area that basically is going to help him out in the longer run here. So he's going to try to stretch this fuel out for maybe another lap or two. We'll have to wait and see how much he's been able to save. He fell back from 4th place there. He got 4th in that stage and then instantly kind of started rolling out of that throttle and saving more and more fuel. So for the 42, that fuel mileage has been going up and up and up here this evening. And for the 42, we'll have to wait and see what he's able to do, as we do see Peterson now down pit road. Kevin Winker will lead that lap here as the 42 ride out in front. And as things start to circle back around here, looks like Cal Turboville and Evan Gomet able to run really good lap times here. They're going to stay in front of Brad Lane and the rest of our top drivers here. So a good pit stop there, and obviously some good tires on these race cars now. And that's going to keep Brad Lane back here in position number 4 here on the speedways. Here comes K-Dub. Kevin Winker is going to come down pit side as well. I thought that was very, very surprising here. I figure for how many laps Brad Lane was able to run, that he would be in front of these guys, but he's only right there with them. He's right in the battle, so not very good pit stops here for Brad Lane, Kyle Wiggins, Jacob Grube, John Herbert, Ed Kostersberger, even Chris Gilbert. A lot of these drivers that came down pit road quite a bit earlier than everybody else, because they're going to back behind the ball now, as we do see K-Dub Winker able to get done his pit stop, trying to roll back out onto the racetrack. As of right now, he will roll out of the pits in about that 15th position. But for Brandon Deming, he'll have the race lead. He gets around Cal Turboville, and now it's all about who's got them fresh tires and who doesn't, because Brandon Deming looks like he's absolutely flying out there on the speedway. Last time around ran a sub 30-second lap time. Not a lot of drivers running sub 30 seconds out there on the speedway right now, so it's going to be interesting to see who's going to have a better game plan here for later in this race, because we should see probably everyone that pitted there around lap 42, lap 43. When we look up here, we look at Brad Lane, you look at drivers like Jacob Grube, Kyle Wiggins, Ed Kostersberger, Chris Gilbert. A lot of these drivers that came down pit road fairly early in this pit cycle they're going to have to pit again here in the next, 18, 20 laps or so. They're going to have to come back down pit road and pit again, and I believe it will probably be their final pit stop of the day, biting a late race caution flag. And for a lot of these other drivers, like Cal Turboville, like Evan Gourmet, you kind of know that. You know that you're kind of got the advantage right now, and if we stay clean and green, if we don't see another caution flag, you can use up your final set of tires here at their final pit stop, probably somewhere around lap number 95, lap 100, and they're going to be good to go here to get to the end of this race without having to make another pit stop. It's 135 laps, man. You think it'd take a while, but these guys are clicking the laps off in a quick hurry. It's now 66 laps completed here this evening as Ryan says, way to go, Brad Lane, cheering on Laner here this evening as there's that beautiful Chevrolet, that Fanatec ride as he's rolling here in third, looking to try to take over second as he wants to try to navigate his way around Cal Turboville. Turboville will fall back behind him, and there we go, up and into position number 2 for Brad Lane here this evening. But when will he pull that trigger? When can he start to navigate his way down pit side? Because for the one ride, he was last down pit road on lap number 42. So far, the longest runs that we've really seen out of these drivers was about 30 laps, somewhere around there, 35-ish area. So for a lot of these drivers, that 35 lap marker is going to be the key to success here. And I think for a few of these drivers, man, they may still be cutting in very close on fuel. If they can only go 35 laps, that's going to put Brandon DeMing, John Herbert, Cal Turboville, Evan Gourmet all back down pit road on lap number 95, which means they will have a 40 lap run to the checkered flag if that is their number. If 95 is the number, then they're going to have to start saving here, and I think that's what we're seeing right now. Out of the 68 ride, out of that number 64 ride, is that they are saving a little bit of fuel here, trying to stretch this run out, seeing if they can get a little closer to that lap 100, knowing that they could be good on fuel to the end of this race once they pit. And for a driver like Kevin Winker, K-Dub's been right on the ball here this evening. He went a couple laps farther than everybody else during that last run. He was the last car down pit side there on lap number 62. So for Kevin Winker, he's only got to save probably about 2 or 3 more laps of fuel, and he'll be able to make that pit stop without a care in the world. And he may be one of the only ones to be able to hit that number, man, to be able to make it to towards lap number 99, 98, maybe even lap 100 here, and being able to make sure that he is good on fuel to get to the end of this race without having to make an additional pit stop, where the drivers have pitted there on lap number 60. May get very tight for them, and it may get very nerve-wracking. They may have to roll out of the throttle and try to save so much fuel late in the race, where if Kevin Winker doesn't have to worry about that fuel savings, he can be on the throttle, be a lot faster than they are, and roll right on around them as K-Dub up and into that 12th position, as that is unfortunately the 75 ride of Bobby Blair. We saw Blair run into those issues down and out at corner number 4, and for the 75 ride, as went a lap down, he's kind of stuck back here. Same with Kyle Van Tassel is there. 2 drivers a lap down right now. Dimitri Curtis, unfortunately, has fallen a lap down here as well. Tim Blankenbeckler, last driver on the lead lap, back in that 15th position. It's going to have to be careful here because our race leaders are not too far back there behind him, but we do see John Herbert. Herbert's able to track his way through the field, and John Herbert now out in front. So for the KR Gutters, Ridge Powersports, that Sky Soldier, number 87 of John Herbert, steals the lead away from Brandon DeMing. DeMing will slide back now into second. Brad Lane there in third with Ryan Peterson in position number 4. Jacob Grube rounding out our top 5 here on the Speedways. Cal Turboville back into 6th. Jason LePan there in 7th. Evan Gourmet in 8th now, with Kyle Wiggins back in position number 9. And Koshersberger there rounding out our top 10 is Chris Gilbert, Kevin Winker, Gordon Glidewell, Rob McDonald back there, Trench in that 14th position. A Frets for Pets ride there in 14th. Frets for Pets ride back in 15th and 16th as Tim Blankenbeckler still in the lead lap. Dimitri Curtis, first car 1 lap down out there on the racetrack. Bobby Blair a lap down as well there in the 17th spot. Kyle Van Tassel, I believe, is a couple laps down now. Scored back in 18th. Then for Nicholas Snyder and Tyler Lemon, their nights unfortunately coming to an early close. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, man, hopefully you guys are enjoying some great racing action here this evening with the Metal Morphosis Machine LLC HCK Beagles Truck Series here this evening as these drivers head down and out of corner number 4, back down across the line. They'll complete lap number 75 here this evening. So 75 laps completed and green flag pit stops starting to get started. Here comes Brad Lane. Lane comes down pit road. Here comes Evan Goulmet. Here comes Kyle Wiggins. They head down pit side as well. Man, the Waffle House ride making that pit stop here, man. This is going to be interesting as these drivers coming down pit road here on lap 75, they can't make it a 50-lap run, so they're virtually going to have to probably split this next stage up, go another 25 laps, 30 laps, and then come back down pit road, and that's going to make things very, very tough because they're in this position now that they have to make a 2-stop race here. They got to go another stop here, at least in this feature event. And that's really going to set them back for drivers like Kevin Winker, like maybe probably not Jacob Grube, but Brandon Ming, Ryan Peterson, John Herbert. You know, what's the game plan for those guys? Will they have to make another pit stop? Will they be good to go here for a little while longer? As now here we go. We see Ryan Peterson and Brandon Ming also come down pit side here. All right, this is very interesting, man. I don't know why so many of these drivers are pitting here on lap number 76 as I don't know if they want to just try to balance out tires or what the game plan is, because this is going to make things very interesting. They can't make it to the end here. Lap 77 is not going to get you to the end of this race on a fuel run. They're going to have to pit at least once more for fuel. And that could be the winning move. That could be the winning strategy of just trying to play that fuel strategy out, not wanting to make an additional pit stop late in this race. So be interesting to see. Maybe they're just trying to play it out now where they have to come down pit road. Maybe they want to do it now and hope to catch a caution flag compared to waiting a little bit later in the race and having it happen with the likelihood of a caution flag not coming out. Maybe they're just making these early pit stops. We do see Gordon Glidewell now down pit side, so a lot of these drivers have navigated their way down pit road. Everyone except for our top 4 right now has been back down pit side, and a few of the drivers a little deeper in the field. When you look back at Bobby Blair or Dimitri Curtis, they yet to come back down pit road. Same with Kyle Van Tassel, who pitted back on lap number 60, but for Gordon Glidewell, he's down there. He's getting his pit stop in, but for these drivers here out in front, they're sitting pretty right now, and if they continue to keep on rolling, if they roll another 20 laps or so, if they can get to that lap 100 marker, then they're going to be feeling really, really good. And even if a caution flag were to come out, is now here we go. Here comes Jacob Grube. Grube's going to come down pit road. Here comes Ryan Peterson. Nope, Peterson just got very loose at a corner number 4 right there. And unfortunately for Ryan Peterson, he is going to lose another spot there to the one right on Brad Lane, as Lane will get around him. But we do see Jacob Grube navigate his way down pit side. And for the 42 of Kevin Winker, he'll jump up now into position number 3. Now we really got to wonder, what's the game plan here for John Herbert, Jason LePan, Kevin Winker? We know Winker loves to play the strategy game out. He loves to play this game of trying to roll these fuel mileage races to his advantage. And here tonight could be the night that it works out into his favor, as things kind of gotten a little broken up right now. And obviously a lot of drivers on some different strategies, trying to make some different moves or trying to figure out what they need to do to try to put themselves into victory lane. And I don't know about it, man. It's going to get very, very wild here. It's Brandon Mang. He's about 12 seconds back of Kevin Winker, but he is a lap down. So John Herbert in between Deming and Kevin Winker, and K-Dub looked like soon as we went back to green flag racing, he kind of got right back into some of that fuel savings mode. Here is the 42 ride back here in position number 3. Just kind of running his race, rolling his roll, and for that number 42, just trying to keep himself on the lead lap and trying to play out this strategy, seeing if it'll work into his favor. It's K-Dub at the front of the pack. We'll see how this is going to play out for him there, sitting in that second position. Obviously, Brandon Deming and John Herbert also kind of playing some different strategy here as well. So we'll have to see who will come out on top, who will be able to make up the gap here or have the advantage late in this race to give themselves a shot at the win. As Brandon Deming rolling there in fourth, Brad Lane rounds out our top five as of right now, as Ryan Peterson, Cal Turbeville, Jacob Groove there in eighth. We look back at Evan Gomet rounding out our top nine, and Kyle Wiggins rounding out the top 10 in that Waffle House ride. And Kostersberger, Chris Gilbert, Dimitri Curtis, Bobby Blair, Tim Blankenbackler, Gordon Glidewell, Rob McDonald, Trench back there in the 17th position with Kyle Van Tassel. Nicholas Snyder and Tyler Lemon rounding out our field as nice and easy down and across the start finish line here for John Herbert. He will complete lap number 85 here this evening. So 85 laps completed, and I do believe, what is that, 50 laps left to go. 50 laps left to go here in this race. So for each and every one of these drivers, man, 50 laps left to try to get it done here in this one. And right now, they're all chasing their strategy, and they're all chasing down this 87 of John Herbert, as Herbert will lead another lap, and we will jump into our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers here this evening as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, a beautiful crank it up session, giving us the sights and sounds around Charlotte Motor Speedway here this evening. As out in front, our new race leader, it's the 18 of Jacob Grube. Grube now has the top spot as we do see Kevin Winker heading down pit side here. So K-Dub has to come down pit road. He gives up the race lead and will now find himself a lap down out there on the speedway. So for the strategy out of that number 42 ride. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out for him as we saw Jacob Grube catch up to him there at the end of that run. Now for Winker, he was able to make it again a little bit farther. I do believe he made it there to lap number 98 before coming down pit road. So I do believe he's going to be very tight on fuel, being able to run. I don't know. Where did he go? He came down pit road on what, lap 62 to 92? That's going to be about 37 laps, something like that. So he should be able to run another 37-lap run. He's just got to hope that it kind of nets out to the exact same that it did there during that run, to hope that he can try and keep that gap between himself and Jacob Grube and the rest of these guys, that where when it comes down to the wire, down to that last lap, he can have a bit of a gap, even though he may have slightly older tires, that he may have the advantage still over the rest of these drivers. We do see Brandon Ming headed down pit road now. We did see a few other drivers also head back down pit side, including Bobby Blair. Bobby Blair came down pit side there on lap number 98. Gordon Glidewell came down pit road on lap number 97. It looks like Glidewell's taking his car off and out of this race. Dimitri Curtis also coming back down pit side there on lap 92 here, unfortunately for Dimitri, now scored back in the 18th position. Will gain a spot with Gordon Glidewell not being out there on the racetrack, so Dimitri will jump up into the 17th spot. For Brandon Ming down pit road, able to complete that pit stop. He is behind Kevin Winker. What's that gap going to look like? Will Brandon Ming be able to track down Kevin Winker late in this race and maybe try to steal this win away from that 42, as Winker will still be very, very close on fuel? It's going to get very, very tight here for that number 42 ride, but we'll have to wait and see how far he can go, how much he can save, and if he has to save fuel, is it going to be worth it for him? Because, man, he gave up so much time, so much track position, saving that fuel, that I don't know if it's going to net out to being in his advantage or not. He may save enough fuel and get to the end of this race without having to make an additional pit stop, where in turn, yes, it's one less pit stop than everybody else, but in turn, it's going to potentially, he may still only come over the top 5 or a top 10 run. He may not even finish inside the top 10 for how slow he may have to be to try to save fuel to get to the end of this race. So we'll have to see, what this car or what this truck is going to look like, and, after another, 10 laps, 15 laps from now, as we do see Ed Kochersberger now making his way down pit side. For Jacob Grube, Brad Lane, John Herbert even. I'm assuming Herbert's going to be shy on fuel by just a little bit here. He'd have to run 41 laps to get to the end, so he's going to need to come down pit road and get a splash of gas and go. So we'll have to wait and see if John Herbert can kind of get down pit side, get that fuel, and get rolling, put himself into a good position, as he will have to make an additional pit stop here. So won't Evan Gourmet, Cal Turbeville, Kyle Wiggins, who's now into that 6th position, Chris Gilbert, Ryan Peterson. They're all going to have to come back down pit side. So isn't Jason LePan, Tim Blankenbeckler. So right now, the highest running driver that could be potentially good on fuel is this 42 of Kevin Winker. But unfortunately for K-Dub, he is about 38 seconds behind our race leaders right now, and that 38-second gap may be all that Jacob Grube needs to keep himself out in front. If he comes down pit road and makes a pit stop, he may still have the advantage over the 42 of Kevin Winker. So this is going to get right down to the nitty-gritty, and it's going to make things very, very fun to see, because now I think a lot of these drivers are having to try to figure out their game plan. Here comes Brad Lane. Lane's got to come down pit road, so here he comes. Finally jumps down pit side as we are under 30 laps left to go in this race. About 20 28 laps left to go, 28, 26, something like that left to go here in this feature event. Now we do see Kyle Wiggins, Chris Gilbert, Ryan Peterson all come down pit side here as well here on lap 107. So how much longer does Jacob Grube go? And it's not going to be very much longer, as here he comes back down pit side for the 18 ride. So Jacob Grube makes his pit stop. I do believe here comes Evan Gomet. Here comes Cal Turboville, the 4 ride of Tim Blankenbeckler, also down pit road. And so far it looks like everyone's able to get down pit side. No speeding penalties. No one's been caught for that here this evening, which is absolutely incredible to see, man. Normally we see at least one driver end up with one of those pit road speeding penalties, but not as of yet. As John Herbert, Jason LePan will now be our race leaders, but the big question mark is going to be, where will Kevin Winker come out compared to Grube and the rest of our race leaders here? He's in front of Brad Lane by about 5.5 seconds. I do believe as he rolls down across the start-finish line into corner number 1, here comes Grube. Grube is just coming out of pit lane right now. So this is going to be potentially the battle, I think, here for the race lead. As Chris Gilbert goes around right here. Cold tires, and unfortunately for the 45 is going to loop it around right there. That's going to send him back in this one quite a bit. That's a tough break there for the 45. Ryan had a good run going. That's going to hurt his chances here this evening. That's a big mistake down the back straightaway, but for Kevin Winker, he's out in front here. He does have about that 5.5 seconds between himself and Jacob Grube. So for right now, he's got a bit of a gap, but he's got to hold on to that gap as our race leaders have completed lap 110 for Kevin Winker. That is 25 laps that he has to try to keep that gap and keep this 18 ride back there at bay, and that is going to be a lot easier said than done, especially if he needs to save a little bit of fuel to get to the end of this race. So for Kevin Winker, he may be off the throttle, and for the 18 ride, he may be hunting him down, as we do see John Herbert making his way down pit side. Now Herbert, I do believe, should only need a splash of gas and go in here. Let's take a look. Again, it looks like he is going to get no tires. He's going to get some fuel. Looks like they got enough into that ride. He's going to be set loose. So for John Herbert, he's going to roll back out here. Let's see where he kind of gets lined up. If he can stay in front of Kevin Winker, as here comes K-Dub down and out of corner number 4 across the line and down into corner number 1 and 2. It's going to be tight here between John Herbert and Kevin Winker. Now Winker does have slightly better tires than this 87, but now for the 87, he is good on fuel. He is good to go. He does not have to come down pit side again in this race. For Kevin Winker, he's still going to be tight on fuel, but he needs to catch up and make something happen if he wants this strategy to pay off and put himself up into victory lane. He's going to need a little something extra here. For Jason LePan, I think he's on that same strategy note, but as of right now, he doesn't really have too big of a gap to work to his advantage here. Only about 17.5 seconds in front of our potential race leader once he comes down pit road, but for LePan does have to make at least one more pit stop here this evening. And for Winker, he may be very, very tight on fuel, especially if he's got to start to try to hunt down that 87 ride, and it all may be for nothing because here comes Jacob Grube. Grube has closed in, has erased that 5.5 second gap, and Jacob Grube now right here on the back bumper of Kevin Winker and John Herbert. So all their strategy may be pretty much done here in this one, man. It was a valiant effort. It was a good try. Unfortunately, just not going to quite work out for them here in this one. Maybe a late race caution flag. Maybe they got an extra set of tires back behind pit wall that they can use. But as of right now, obviously not going to be the winning call for Kevin Winker, and probably not the winning call for John Herbert, as you see that number 18 of Jacob Grube reeling him in a quick curry. And for the Morphosis Machine LLC, number 18 of Jacob Grube looking to try to pick up his second checkered flag here on the season and trying to put Morphosis back up and into victory lane for the second time here this season. As here he goes down low, fresher tires, and able to just cruise right on around the 87. And for John Herbert, unfortunately his strategy may not work out as a race win, but we'll have to wait and see how much he can hang on to it, as you do see Brad Lane now working his way up and into position number 4. So he's gotten around Kevin Winker. Brandon Domingue quite a little ways back here, but still should be catching those guys. Same with Evan Gomet, the 45 or 40 64 ride of Cal Turboville back there in 8th, and Kyle Wiggins back in 9th. Ed Koschersberger rounding out our top 10. But for a lot of these drivers on different tire strategies, different fuel strategies, things are going to continue to change here over the next 19 laps or so of this feature event, as Jason LePan out in front has the race lead. But I do believe for LePan, he is going to run a little shy on fuel here this evening. I don't think he can make it to the end of this race. I think 40 laps would be a stretch here, and I do believe that would put him 2 laps shy on fuel. So I think we're going to see him coming down pit road any lap now. We will see this 20 ride make that hard left-hand turn back down pit side here in this one, and it may be just for a splash of gas and go. Maybe he's hoping to see a caution flag. Maybe he'll run this tank dry to about 30 laps left in this race before he finally decides to come down pit side here to make his final stop. If he can catch a yellow, it may work out very well here for the 20 machine, but we'll have to wait and see. Is Anna, what's good? Anna, Mrs. Alessandro up in the chat says, Peacemaker, what's up? What's up, Anna? You know what's up, my girl. Just some good racing action here this evening, Anna. How are you? Hope you're having yourself a wonderful day. As Jason LePan looking for a good day, hoping to find victory lane. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how it's going to play out for him, because this may be the battle for the race lead and for the race win right here, ladies and gentlemen. Jacob Grew, Brad Lane, 1 and 2 on the speedway. Lane starting to reel in this 18 ride, and for Brad Lane, start on the pole here, and the quick time there in qualifying. Can he lay down some quick times here late in this race and try to steal this one away from Jacob Groob? As Lane and Groob 1 and 2 down the back straightaway, they've got to know that this could be the battle for the race win here this evening, as Brad Lane all over the back bumper here of that 18 machine. John Herbert's back there in 4th, as Evan Gourmet already around. Kevin Winker, K-Dub's going to continue to slide back here, as here goes a couple of the lap down cars. The 45 there of Chris Gilbert and the number 4 of Tim Blankenbeckler, but you do see this 64 ride of Mr. Cal Turboville. Turboville right there, able to get around the 42 ride of Kevin Winker. Winker will slide back now into the 7th position, but that battle is continuing to brew here for what is currently right now position number 2 out on the speedway, but will be for the race lead, as Jacob Grew for the next, 14 laps, something like that. He's going to have to try to hold off this number 1 of Brad Lane. And for Brad Lane, he's got about 14 laps left to go here in this feature event to try to jump up here and steal this win away from that number 18 ride. So it's going to come down to the very end here, man. It's going to be another nail-biter here in this one, as Anna says, I had a birthday last Sunday. Let's go, Anna. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday, Mrs. Alessandro. You know, only, 32 years young, just a young pup still for Anna Alessandro. So, happy birthday there, Anna. Happy birthday, chat. Jump up into the booth right now. Jump into that comment section and wish Anna a very happy birthday here this evening, as Jason LePan out in front. He's hoping that he can try to earn himself a present here this evening, and that would be to try to pick up the checkered flag. But I think things are looking very dire for the 20 ride, knowing that he's going to have to make another pit stop. Is banking on a late race caution flag to kind of keep him in this one, as Jacob Grew, Brad Lane, 1 and 2 out there on the speedway. Evan Gourmet now up and into position what would be number 3 here on the racetrack right now. Cal Turboville into what would be position number 4. John Herbert slid back now into 6th, with Brandon Ming hunting him down. Kevin Winker there in 8th. Kyle Wiggins back in position number 9. Ed Koschersberger there in 10th, with Chris Gilbert rounding out our top 11 as of right now. Tim Blankenbeckler there in 12th, with Ryan Peterson back in position number 13. Rob McDonald in 14th. Then we see Bobby Blair, Kyle Van Tassel, Dimitri Curtis there in 17th. Gordon Glidewell, Nicholas Snyder, and Tyler Lemon rounding out the field. But out in front, it's still everyone waiting for LePan to come down pit road with 10 laps left to go. Oh, baby, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You came here for a show. Here you go, man. This is going to get very, very fun, and we're going to continue to keep an eye out on this battle here for what is potentially the race win between these two. For Jacob Grube and Brad Lane, they know that Jason LePan more than likely has to come back down pit road, has to make a pit stop here this evening. And here we go. LePan's down pit side. So LePan finally has to bite the bullet, makes his way down pit road here. He's going to give up the race lead. Now, obviously, he does not want to see a caution flag, but if there is a yellow flag to come out, he wants it before he potentially goes a lap down as our race leaders. Now, down the back straightaway as Grube holding on to about a 0.3 of a second lead between himself and Brad Lane. Lane trying to duke it out here with them for the win this evening. They got a good gap here, about 5 seconds between themselves and our third place driver, Evan Gomet. Cal Turbeville, they are in position number 4, and for Cal, he's got to jump up here and try to make a move around his teammate if he wants to keep his streak of top 3 finishes alive here this season. He'll have to try to gain at least one more spot as Deming now rolls in position number 5, but John Herbert right there with him. But Herbert, unfortunately, a little bit older, tires falling backwards as Kyle Wiggins moving forwards here into 7th with Kevin Winker back there in the 9th position now. Is that Koshersberger will make the pass on him. So Koshersberger into 8th. Winker back to 9th. Jason LePan able to come back into the pits, rounding out our top 10. And he is the first driver 1 lap down for Kevin Winker. He's the last driver on the lead lap, and if K-Dub could catch a late race caution flag, what that would mean for that 42 ride and trying to put himself up and into victory lane. But for Jacob Grube, he does not want to see that caution, but man, oh man, oh man, he's got to be getting a little bit nervous with this one rider, Brad Lane, right there on his back bumper. Still 0.3 of a second separating our top 2 drivers out there on the speedway. Grube, Lane, 1 and 2 out there on the speedway is Evan Gomet and Cal Turbeville trying to hunt them down here in this one, as we do see another late race pit stop, as I believe that is Dimitri Curtis having to come back down pit road in that Frets for Pets number 83 ride. Tough break here for Dimitri back in that 17th position. Not quite the run he had in mind here this evening, but a couple of his teammates doing all right here. We do see Ron McDonald rolling there in that 14th spot. Tim Blankenbeckler, he's there in position number 12. So not too shabby here for the Friends for Pets rides this evening. But out in front, no one better than this 18 ride as of right now. It may not be for long, because here comes Brad Lane. He's closing that gap. He's reeling in our race leader. It's down to about 0.2 of a second here as they exit corner number 4 back down across the start finish line. It is 4 more laps left to go. So 4 more laps left to duke it out here in this one. Who will come away with it? Who will pick up the checkered flag here this evening as Jacob Grube, Brad Lane nose to tail out here on the speedway. Bit of a gap all the way back here to our 3rd and 4th place drivers, Evan Gomet, Cal Turbeville, and an even bigger gap back to Brandon Deming. They're in a position number 5, but it's Kyle Wiggins in the Waffle House number 14 ride looking to try to make one more pass here this evening at least, as the 14 ride down low trying to work his way up inside the top 5 here late in this race as Grube. Only 3 laps left to go here. 3 more laps left to duke it out. It's 2.5 down and across the line. Who's going to get it done, ladies and gentlemen? What do you think? Do you think Jacob Grube hangs on to it, or do you think that Brad Lane can jump up here and steal this win away from Jacob Grube this evening from the beautiful Charlotte Motor Speedway? It is 2 laps left to go here in this one. The Morphosis Machine LLC Truck Series, again putting on another absolutely amazing show for us, man. Some absolutely amazing racing action, and it's coming right down to the nitty-gritty. We knew it was going to be a nail-biter, and here we go, down through 3, and out at corner number 4, as Grube stretches that lead back out to about 0.3 of a second, down and across the line. They will see the white flag fly. So no late race caution flag will mix things up here at the front. We will say clean and green here to this checkered flag this evening. As you see, Brad Lane reeling him in here within a truck length now of Jacob Grube as they head down the back straightaway for the final time here this evening. One more shot, one more opportunity for Brad Lane to try to steal this win away from the 18 ride of Jacob Grube as they come out of corner number 4. Brad Lane can't get there as Jacob Grube will pick up the checkered flag here in Charlotte, as Grube will put our series sponsor back up into victory lane for the second time here this season, as the Metamorphosis Machine LLC number 18 will capture the dub here on Veterans Day night here with the HCK Beagles Truck Series, as Jacob Grube gets the win. He'll pull this ride up and into the Charlotte Motor Speedway victory lane, as Brad Lane will come home in second, and it's Evan Gourmet in the hometown garage number 68 who will round out our top 3. Cal Turbeville unfortunately could not keep his streak of top 3 runs going here this evening, but a 4th place finish, so 5 races, 5 top 5 still for that 64 ride of Cal Turbeville as he comes home in that 4th position. Man, he's been 4th, 3rd, 2nd here every single race of this season. Unfortunately, has yet to find victory lane and has yet to finish outside the top 4 in any of these features events. As out in front, winning this race and parking himself into the infield, it is that 18 of Jacob Grube. Man, it's Grube with a big win and a hell of a show here this evening. We'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top 3 up and into the booth for their post-race interviews. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already as well, and make sure you turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss any of the green flag action here on Peacemaker Gaming. As K-Dub says, fun race, love the strategy, just didn't have it tonight, but another top 10. Hard to beat Cal, laugh out loud. Yeah, definitely hard to beat Cal, man. That kid has been on fire here to start this season. But man, Jacob Grube winning his 2nd race of the year as well. And so many good, consistent, and strong drivers up and down this field. It's going to be a great season, ladies and gentlemen, and we're only 5 races in as we'll get ready to pull Jacob and the rest of our top 3 up and into the booth here for their post-race interviews here this evening. Post-race interviews coming up next. We'll get them up here into the booth. All right, so here we go. Our race winner, Jacob Grube. Hey, Jacob, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Got you, loud and clear.
Jacob, man, what a run. What a drive, brother. Take us back through this one. And what's going through your mind right now is you're able to pick up a big win here on Veterans Day here with the HCK Beagles Truck Series.
You know what? It's just another win for the crew chief put together. Just made the right call there. I was just talking to the guys. It's because of that strategy, or that first caution, it put basically everybody on a different strategy. So it was kind of a wild one. It was really cool to see that how it played out at the end. But fortunately, we were just able to make the right call and have the freshest tires at the end, I think is what won it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a little fresher tires, making all the right calls here. Just banking on no caution flags to kind of ruin or throw your strategy out the window there throughout the rest of this race. Is only that one caution flag. And as I said, yeah, it definitely really broke things open here. We saw a lot of different pitch strategies, a lot of different drivers trying to do something different. Some drivers trying to take a different swing at it instead of going with one strategy there throughout the middle. Green flag pit stops, they came down a little bit earlier with you guys again there around lap number 75-ish area, 78. They kind of all came back down pit road again. And I was kind of a little bit worried there and a little bit confused on what they were doing, what the game plan was, making that additional pit stop. But, it still worked out for a few of them here in this one. But, man, you had K-Dub, you had John Herbert, LePan, all these guys try to run some different strategies here right down to the very end. We're getting a little bit nervous that maybe one of them knew something different than you did and maybe was going to hit the strategy on the head to be able to put themselves up and into victory lane.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think, anything could have, a caution or I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't know how it was gonna work out. And then especially at the end, you had Brad Lane there coming with speed, so I didn't know if I was gonna be able to hold him off. So it was definitely an interesting race all the way through. I think after that first caution, talked to my teammate Ed there, and he came in with me, and he got a little nervous, and he decided that to come back down like right away and get out of the bed that we made and get off strategy. And I just kind of kept with it. I had it in my mind. I was gonna where what laps I was gonna pit at just to keep the best tires towards the end, and it just worked out.
Yeah, worked out perfectly for you as you're able to park our sponsored car back up and into victory lane here as you're able to get Metamorphosis now their second win on the season and your second win here on the season, and no bigger race than here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway under the lights. Jacob, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance here this evening?
Hey, I just want to take the opportunity to say happy Veterans Day to everybody out there who has served in the military. I appreciate your service and thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge shout out there to all of our veterans, and a huge shout out to yourself here tonight, Jacob, on a massive win and parking that beautiful 18 ride back up and into victory lane. Man, we can't wait to see you guys back in action again next Tuesday, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in victory lane.
Yes, sir. Thank you and have a good night.
Yes, you as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Jacob Grube. As Grube able to get the dub, we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, Brad Lane. Hey, Brad, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Hey, Aaron, I got you.
Brad, man, another solid run, another great drive for you, man, and you're able to come home with a solid second place finish. But take us back through this one. Obviously, a lot of different strategy, a lot of different pit stops here, and it comes down to late in this race. You're right there. You're hunting down Jacob Grube, and now you just got to try to find a way around him. Unfortunately, every time you kind of close back up to him, you could get there, but you just couldn't quite make a move to try to get back around this 18 ride of Jacob Grube to put yourself back out in front and winning this race.
Yeah, the strategies at the beginning of the race were wild. I mean, once you kind of made your bed, you got to lay in it at that point. I mean, we decided not to take tires during that first caution and just run the set out a little longer. And I mean, it played out obviously. If we'd have probably called a caution or two when we were a lap down, that really would have hurt us. And I would definitely not be finishing second. But yeah, I mean, get behind Jacob. Those last 10, 15 laps. I mean, especially when I got within 3 or 4 car lengths, I got arrow tight. I couldn't do anything with him. It felt like I was plowing through the center, off exit. I felt like I was a little better than him through 1 and 2, but he would just regain it coming off of 4 because he was a little stronger there than I was. But overall, good race. I'm glad the strategy played out.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that strategy could have went opposite ends in a quick Korea, an untimely caution flag, or anything could have sent you guys back here. But man, what was kind of going through your guys' mind after that first caution flag really busted this thing open, and we saw so many different strategies being played out, so many different pit cycles and everything else, man. How did you get that kind of figured out? What was going through your mind there at that point to make sure that this worked and gave yourself that opportunity to try and find victory lane?
Yeah, what was so hard is you're sitting here racing and you're thinking about, you've already set your strategy. Now you just got to, make sure no cautions, untimely cautions come out. But then you start thinking about everybody else. Like, all right, well, so and so pitted 8 laps after me. Like, what is he trying to do? And then there was the last 40, 45 laps. You really figured out, all right, he's on the wrong strategy. No matter what happens right here, he's kind of out of the race. So yeah, it's definitely a mind game. And if somebody's watching the broadcast that doesn't, you go, I went from first to first to 12th, second to 13th, back and forth. They're probably figuring out what in the world's going on, but just a strategy game.
Absolutely. Strategy. And here in this one, it was very much right on par here between you and Jacob Grube as you guys were able to finish virtually nose to tail out there on the speedway. A bit of a gap between yourselves and Evan Goumet, our third place finisher, and the rest of the field, as I do believe there was only 9 drivers that finished here on the lead lap. And for you and Groove, man, just setting the pace and showing these drivers how to get it done here in this one. Having a great battle there at the end to give us a show here late in the race. Brad, congrats on the second place finish here tonight in our Veterans Day feature event here with the Metamorphosis Truck Series. Brad, who would you like to thank for such a great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, first off, thanks for you broadcasting the race, and shout out to all the veterans. I've got a few friends that have served, so thank you to them and thank you to everybody else. And yeah, this one stung. I really wanted this one. I've kind of felt like I've finished where I've needed to finish in the past 2 seasons, but I think I let this one may have gotten away. But Jacob's always fast, so if I'm gonna finish behind somebody, it makes sense to finish behind him. But parents are watching, friends are watching. Just want to thank them, and everybody have a good night.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Brad, heck of a run, heck of a drive, man. Hopefully we see you right back up here in the broadcast booth next Tuesday, maybe one spot better, and up into victory lane yourself.
Thanks, Aaron.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Brad Lane. Lane comes home here in position number 2. Very solid run, very good drive there for that 18 machine. As we'll get running now to pull in our third place finisher, the number 68, it's Evan Goumet. Let's get Evan up here into the booth. Hey, Evan, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth to get a copy.
Yeah, I got you.
Evan, man, another solid run, another good drive for you here in this one, man. Obviously, a lot of strategy, a lot of different pit stops, and a lot of back and forth out here on the speedway, and just hoping that either you catch a timely caution flag or you don't catch an untimely caution flag here throughout this race, man. Take us back through and what's going through your mind after a wild night of pit strategy here at Charlotte.
Yeah, the whole race pretty much came down to that first pit stop. Either Kale and I, we took 4 tires. A lot of people didn't take tires, and so Kale and I had to realize that we had to double stint a tire later on in the middle of the race. So it kind of worked out for us, and we were both easy enough to get stage points there with the 4 tires, so it kind of worked out in our favor.
Yeah, absolutely. Able to earn some good stage points, put those in your back pocket, and still come home with the third place run here this evening. So the strategy didn't go too far out of the way for you, as we saw you guys kind of flip it back there. We saw you come down pit road around lap number 60 and then back down pit road around lap 75-ish area. So it kind of caught me off guard making that earlier pit stop. I thought you guys were going to try to stretch it as far as you can towards lap 90, maybe try to get to lap 100 and try to make it on only one more pit stop. But you guys came back down pit road and kind of made your bet to kind of finish here on the same somewhat of a cycle as everybody else here that had pitted early on after stage number 1.
Yeah, we were probably gone a little bit further, but we were bleeding spots and try to put a band-aid on it by pitting around lap 78-ish. Just kind of match what they did earlier and just flip the strategy there, but it worked out, so can't complain. Third place, and Kale didn't get the podium tonight, but he got 4th. So
Yeah, absolutely. Not able to keep his top 3 performances alive here, trying to look for 5 in a row here on the season. But hey, you know what? We won't say top 3s anymore. We'll say now top 5s, man. 5 top 5s in a row for Cal, and you've been right up here as well, man, putting together some good races, some very strong performances, and you back it up with another third-place run here tonight in our Veterans Day feature event here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Evan, who would you like to thank for another great run and strong performance here yourself?
yeah, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. This race is for them. Want to shout out Hometown Garage and Banjo Time with Clara, great sponsor. Shout out my parents for watching. Shout out my girlfriend for watching. And thank you for broadcasting.
Absolutely, brother. Evan, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening, man. We can't wait to see you guys back in action again next Tuesday and see if we can get the 68 ride maybe a couple spots better and up into victory lane.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Beauty, enjoy the rest of your night.
Yep, you too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Evan Goumet. Evan comes home in position number 3, man. Very solid run, very good drive here for that number 68 machine here this evening. Unfortunately, though, that will do it for us here this evening. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the action has come to a close here in this one, man. Another great night of racing action, another amazing night of battling here on high racing, man. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. All the fans in the stands that came out and showed up and showed out here and just enjoyed some amazing racing here this evening, man. We can't thank you guys enough for showing the love throughout this race. And if you guys haven't already, it's not too late to show that love. All you're going to do, hit the like button on the stream for us right now. You hit that thumbs up button. It goes a long way, helps push the stream with the more people, especially if you drop a comment or two. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. And turn those bell notifications on because you never want to miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming. You never want to miss any of the green flag action here in our broadcast, as we will be back up here in the booth again tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we actually go dirt track racing. It'll be a fun night of dirt street stock action with the Dirt Warrior Racing League's Wednesday night street fights here tomorrow night. So make sure you guys tune into that one. Another amazing show, another amazing race, and some of the best in the business to ever do it on the dirt track are going to be duking it out again here tomorrow night. So we can't wait to see you guys there. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in here this evening, and we'll catch y'all in the next one, man. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank y'all for watching. Peace and love, and we'll see y'all tomorrow night. Woo! Peace out, baby. What a race, what a run, what a show.
Vision. Planning. Possibility. At Metal Morphosis Machine, we turn ideas into engineered reality. Whether you're working with plastics, composites, ferrous or non-ferrous metals, our capabilities and vast partner network ensure no project is too big, too small, or too complex. From concept to completion, your success starts here. Discover how Metal Morphosis can elevate your machining needs today. Precision.
Dreams within our sight, asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaming life so bright. Rev it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race, feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Feel the place, feel the place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste, feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our only place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste, every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste, in this high octane haste, every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights the engine scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like